Hello, everybody, and welcome to the first ever episode of Passing Dimes Sharp Cuts. Now, what makes this a little bit different than Passing Dimes is that's pretty interview style. That's maybe a little behind the scenes. It's a little bit scripted. Where this show, man, we're gonna get off topic. We've got some characters. We're gonna be discussing some topics, but I'm excited to see where this goes because I'm in the show and I don't even know what the show's about. But partnering with Yes Guy Gaming and my guy over there, Garrett May, and we got some awesome characters for our first episode ever. Maybe that'll be a trivia question later on, but the first episode ever. But I'll toss it over to my guy Garrett May from Yes Guy Gaming and kind of the brainchild behind this idea.
Well, hey everybody, welcome to this first premiere episode. If you didn't hear before, I am the aforementioned Garrett May from the world famous Yes Guy Gaming, joining Josh Nickel from the also world famous Passin Dimes podcast to combine to make this show Sharp Cuts. But we're kind of boring alone. I mean, we're exciting individually. Together, meh. But we need to bring in some other people to really spice this thing up. So first off, I'm going to introduce our first guest. He was well known for the mysterious Volley Chirps Twitter account that seems to have disappeared. Former assistant coach at George Brown College. Top 10 facial hair game in Canadian volleyball history. And my best friend, Oscar Kahu. Welcome to the show, Oscar.
Well, happy to be here.
So who are you? What should the people know about you in a short blurb? Go.
Oh, geez, I was really prepared for this one. I've been out of the game, gained some weight. My vertical has definitely improved in the downward way. I basically in quarantine, working all the time. That's my life now. Going out for walks is part of the daily routine, but other than that, it's been pretty monotonous since basically middle of March. So sorry if that's not too much flair for you, but I lead an existence that most people have, which is normal and nothing too flashy right now. So.
Yeah, well, thanks for introducing yourself, Oscar. I really would have liked if you could have spiced it up a little bit, but that's okay. Glad to hear you're doing well. We'll introduce our other guest, and I hope both these guys, Oscar and this next guest, are recurring guests on the show. Two great guys. But this next guy, Canadian Beach Volleyball National Team training member. Yeah, that's right, training member. What did I have next here? 12-foot spike touch. But I don't know if you guys really give a shit about that. Best looking guy to join the show. We'll see if that's ever surpassed by anybody else coming through. And carried Garrett May, that's me, to numerous great finishes on the FIVB World Tour. Please welcome Dan Deering.
Yeah, I definitely carried a lot of sets, for sure. I carried a lot of sets for you, Garrett. Thank you for the introduction.
Yeah. Welcome
honestly,
to the show.
I'm going to have to side with Oscar on this one. I feel like a retiree already. I go for walks during the day. Currently unemployed because of this virus going around. Definitely gained a little bit of weight. Vertical's still up there, though. So thank God for that. Yeah, I'm still training, and I'm grateful for that. But I'm at home, working out, playing the guitar, playing video games. A yes guy. And looking forward to when this is all over, but also looking forward to the summer and getting outside and continuing to carry lots of sets.
Well, that's great to hear. I'm, again, similar to Oscar, I'm really glad you could spice up that for us, give the people a little something extra, but that's okay. I also really appreciate that you're showing us your dinner this evening. Just with what's going on, I think that's a real class A move. No, I'm just
He's
kidding.
an athlete, dude.
Hey,
Honestly, I just came back from a workout. I showered really quick. I sat down. I had to eat, and I had to be on this call. But I can't skip my meal either. I can't.
see, I'm even questioning like working out. Like what? Like you do that now? Like I think Oscar and I are kind of like, well, I mean, we're doing bicep curls maybe just to look good, but Josh, I don't know what you're saying.
I got a couple bands, maybe stretched out a little bit,
I did picture you for a band guy. You just get it on the side of the door, do a little like rotator cuff, like like one of these. But you're
Keep it
probably
fresh,
looking pretty great under that sweater there, aren't you?
Oh yeah, it's been hoodie weather for at least a year now, right? So I mean, gotta keep it fresh with the band workout and maybe some YouTube follow-alongs. Just keep it going.
Yeah, I mean, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I mean, we can't say that enough, can we? Hit that subscribe button, subscribe to the podcast. I mean, you got to do it. But this show, it's called Sharp Cuts because we're trying to cut sharp to the points. And we probably should have prepared a little bit better. Josh, do we have anything we want to even start the show with? Like, do we even give a shit or what?
I think the most recent thing that I'd love to get his take on it, and obviously everybody can chime in here, but Dan really accepted the challenge of a good player from Latvia. Talks was putting the cup on the antenna, and Dan Deering answered with authority with a water bottle, and that was a huge. And you didn't even approach, if I'm correct. Like if you can tell me the full details here, Dan, it looked like standing approach jump. You touched over 11 feet and put a water bottle on an antenna. I think we got to touch on that first because that is internet famous right now.
Yeah, I hope it is. I do. People are talking shit, right? Latvia from the States. I got a couple of great people that tagged me in their posts saying, yo, Deering, you should do it. I'm like, yeah, okay. Everyone knows I can jump high, but fuck it. I'll do it anyways, right? And I posted it, and I got, I don't know, I'm not talking like a lot of likes like you guys, but it got out there. And now I'm excited because I want to throw up more consistent jumps out like that. And, me and my motivational stuff and throw it out there as well and get like a double team of athleticism, but mentality for the youth and the kids to look up to. But sometimes they get distracted by the jump, Josh.
Yeah, well, we're actually kind of hoping that by having you on the show, we can actually kind of try to capture some of that internet sensation fandom. I think I may try to overlay some of the video in if it's even possible, if this even works. I don't know. It's not a guarantee that any of this tech works in these days. But yeah, like, hey, next time maybe when you do something like that, could you just shout out your former partner, top draft pick from the beach crew, and your buddy Josh Nickel, and say, hey, follow these guys because they're really the ones doing the hard work.
No about it. I'll do that. I'll tag you guys. Yes Guy Gaming. I'll hashtag good looking, better than me, Josh Nickel all the way, Oscar Stash, lots of hashtags.
That's good SEO.
Yeah, I heard Oscar Stash is really trending these days.
Should I type it in right now and see if there's only one?
It's not trending with my girlfriend, I'll tell you that.
Well, I got to say, man, and I said it in your intro, top beard game. I mean, I know there's a market for huge spikes and putting water bottles on the antenna, but what's the market for a beautifully crafted mustache?
You know what? It's hard to say. I don't have anyone from Latvia or some Eastern Bloc country tagging me on the internet about what to do next with your facial hair. So this is more of a personal journey. But Dan, I gotta say, I'm looking at this right now. Just check your phone. I just piled on the life train there. I'm looking at this video right now. You can see that. Ooh. This is why we train. This is why you do the stuff you do. So you got to put it online. Otherwise, nobody's going to watch. Nobody's going to see what's going on.
You should start your own, Oscar. You sound like Gary Vaynerchuk.
Well, relax here, boys, because Oscar did start his own and then totally gave up on it. Got like thousands of followers, volley chirps, and then gave up on it. So we have a rare opportunity here. We got internet sensation Dan Deering, and we've got former internet sensation Volley Chirps here. Would Volley Chirps have anything interesting to say about that? Would he chirp it? Would he say a compliment about it? What would Volley Chirps say on that?
Wow, that's a great question. I think I made that account back in, it was probably 2011-ish, 2012, around there. I think I only kept that going for like maybe 2 years. I think we topped out at like around 2,500 just natural followers. So like back then that was a little more decent than it would be now. But that bug, that's insane. But something like that, I can tell you right now, just looking at this video, I can tell you, one, that it's fake. Two, that I don't know why the opposing team would let them post some type of bounce like that, or like they're looking around like they're lost. They know the video. I swear to God.
I mean, I gotta respect the chirping the other team on a video of you getting bounced on. For our listeners out there, if you're not watching on YouTube, subscribe. It's a video of Dan bouncing it around the block with a massive spike from at the net. It's a good point, Oscar. They
see it
let that happen.
Yeah, that was.
They did let that happen. I'm gonna trip some more too. Everyone looks at like, oh, it's such a good bounce, such a good bounce. You got to look at it from a different perspective. It's not a good block. It's just not a good block.
I know.
Sorry, Mike.
Look
at his head
movement. Players.
He looks up at the ball and he stays at the ball the entire time. Like, look at the attacker. Take away the angle.
Who was that? Who were you playing?
Let's call him right out by name.
Friend of the show. They've been on the podcast.
Full name, first and last. Put him on blast.
Let's see.
Michael, no beard, Latinga.
Well,
he's got a viral video too, doesn't he?
He does. I saw it on the reels on Instagram. He had his beard for how many years now? Like 7, 8 years? And he shows it, and he's ripping it off with his face. And then he shows his mustache, and he's ripping it off. You know what I think? I think he shaved because of that bounce. I think it really hurt him.
Wait, but...
That's a good theory.
Wait, hold on. Yeah. You bounced on him, and then he shaved the beard.
Literally, like 4 or 5 days later. I think it grazed his beard when I went by the block, and he was like, I can't let that happen. And
I think he grazed his ego, bud, and then the beard had to go because he knew that he'd be recognized from that video and go, I gotta go incognito.
Yeah, classic identity change. I did it all the time at George Brown. Even as coach.
Yes, for reference out there, friend of the show, Uncle Oscar, used to play for the George Brown Huskies here in Toronto, a team that Josh Nickel coached, then passed the torch to me. And so we got a lot of history there. So you're saying you got bounced on and had to shave your beard more than once?
No, it wasn't like I got bounced on. It was more like, it's just, this isn't working. The team's not working. You got to try to shake things up a little, do my part.
Josh, what's your perspective on that? Because Oscar played for you. Did his facial hair have that big an impact on his play?
I think it was a huge morale boost. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think during Movember he had the handlebars that only Oscar could pull off, and I think that was a big boost to the boys. So that's just a great team guy.
That's true. It was in my that was my Facebook photo for a while. Maybe even my Tinder photo.
Ooh, good one.
Okay, well, great segue, because we were hoping to chat a little bit about some of the glory days at George Brown. I mean, for a little bit of background for listeners and viewers out there, Josh Nickel, not only is he the interim next-gen head coach for Team Canada's beach volleyball national team, no big deal. He's also the refounder of the George Brown Huskies men's volleyball program at George Brown College here in Toronto, which then I took over and coached with my good buddy Oscar. So it's a bit of a small world here. And we had, I'm going to say, two very different styles, Josh. Do you have any,
Yeah.
That wasn't a question, by the way. I was just throwing that out there.
I just haven't said anything in a while. I feel like going here.
What's in this mug? I don't know. You'll never know.
I think different times. I mean, obviously, as you mentioned, like the team was a full rebuild, like full expansion. And obviously, when Oscar got there, I think that was year 4 or 5.
No, that was year 1 of the rebuild. As soon as you got Oscar.
Well, yeah, I I did like when you resigned, and the athletic director mentioned in the article that you really turned the program around, going like 40 and 30. When I retired, going 50 and 42. But the program was just garbage. When you took it over. And...
Yeah, like you're a total hack, basically, and I'm not afraid to say it. I mean, but I think it was very different styles, right? Like you certainly
think,
had...
question. I was more about the stats and the video and the scouting. And you're all about like feelings and personal beliefs and like rah and it just
the 4 pillars.
The 4 pillars. I think it was a good time for a change for the squad, but definitely comparing apples to pomegranates here. I think.
Yeah, well, which am I? What are you saying? You saying I'm a pomegranate? What are you trying to
I
say
think
here, Josh? Just spit it out.
I'll take pomegranate. You can be the apple. You can.
Well, I will say, like, you probably took it a lot more professionally than we did. We had a lot of fun. I can remember Oscar and I just busting a gut on the bench in practice, whatever. And I can imagine you probably not saying some of the same things that we did. Dan, you're a coach, right? Like you coach youth and stuff. I mean, maybe not as much now, but I'm sure there wasn't as much chirping of your own team and thoughts as there was going on when we were on the bench, eh, Oscar?
Well, the F word, a lot of other swear words was a central pillar.
Boom!
I was a pillar, but I think that's probably I can't speak to what coaching is like now or for youth, but I know we had fun. That was a fun time for me.
Well, I can picture Josh like looking at stats and like trying to help his players develop. And here you and I are brainstorming drills for hitting lines, where basically the entire team shags and tosses balls to us to just bounce as coaches. Like that's the sort of thing we were talking about on the bench.
Bouncing those ridiculous drill ideas off each other was part of that hilarity. Like just everybody on your stomach, and then like you go back like that Toronto Maple Leaf style. Who's the least hardworking here? And that's the drill. You just ask them individually to name someone else on the team. It's the least hardworking, and that's the drill.
Yeah, well, I remember we used to do this regularly too, is because we asked everybody in like team meetings at the beginning, like, hey, what are some of your individual goals for the team? And without a doubt, everybody says, oh, I want to work on leadership. Like I want to, be a leader in this team. I don't want to say everybody, but like 5 or 6 guys. So Oscar and I are like, yeah, okay, fine. You want to be a leader? So in practice and in games, we individually tell each guy, hey, show some fucking leadership out there. And tell like 6 guys to go show some leadership out there. I mean, I don't think it worked that well, but it was fun.
It had to have reminded you of Western when Everett told me this story. They had the cameras behind the benches at Nationals, and they'd go into Trinity's timeout and we're in this rotation there and that rotation, and Alberta was very technical, but there wasn't one timeout during the whole national championships where Western, you guys didn't cut off Jim and just start screaming, let's go, yeah, come on, Purple, let's get a win here, come on, let's go. Like, no information being shared, just some alphas just spitting at the mouth, getting ready to go.
Yeah, not afraid to admit it either. I mean, there was no strategy, and I mean, I brought that as a coach. I feel like, the success we had as a team at Western with the let's fucking go, that's really, I would think, my strategy as a coach. And Oscar, man, you bought right into that and helped me out. Dan, I'm curious, is that as effective with 16-year-old girls, or do you need to take a different tact?
No, I actually take these prescribed meds before I walk into the you got to take a completely different approach. I've always said if I'm going to coach men, it's going to be in college and university, so I can drop the F-bombs without actually feeling bad about it, right?
Oh, yeah.
So you definitely have to be very filtered and very careful with the words that you say. You even have to be careful with the looks that you give, because whenever younger girls or younger athletes make a mistake, they always look at you first. So you always have to be kind of walking on ice and being careful. But I would love to coach a college or university team. You can just look right at them and be like, yo, man the fuck up. And then that's it, right?
Yeah, I mean, sort of. And I will say, if that's what you're supposed to do with girls, I wasn't doing it. I assisted with with the Lee side team on a 17-year girls team, and maybe I should have changed my tact. We might have done better.
No, don't doubt yourself, Garrett. Just go the F-bomb way. You're good to go.
Yeah, I mean, that's not really something they teach you when you get your coaching levels. Like, hey, how to remote a player, how to run end lines. That's key, Oscar. You need to have a good end lines call, like a good guttural, like it's intimidating. You need to have that at your disposal.
So that's worth a coaching level on its own. Being able to discipline, that should be a whole course. It's just player discipline, especially for the college crowd.
Yeah, I remember you did say you wanted to be in charge of discipline.
Yeah, I appointed myself headmaster of discipline at George Brown Huskies volleyball. So
Josh, did
points
you
for Gryffindor.
have your guys run many end lines?
There was definitely some running. There was. It's a fun league to be a part of because I feel like you can coach them up and you can be strategic. But at the end of the day, there's just guys in that league who love volleyball and they're fired up and they want to be chirpy. They want to bring energy that like they're not thinking beyond the OCAA. The OCAA is their focus and that's their all, right? So and you see that passion come through that. Sometimes when they're dogging it at practice, you gotta light the boys up every once in a while.
Oh, light them up and smack them down. Like, get to the fucking end lines, boys. Down on your stomachs. We're doing 5 sets. I don't even care.
Mid-game, 12-12, right there, get a yellow card, end line, go. And the ref's just looking at, like, what's going on?
No, you call a timeout to just run end lines.
Yep.
Did we ever do that, Oscar? I feel like that's something we would have done.
Now that you bring it up, like I feel like if we didn't do it, we saw it somewhere. Like maybe it was some of the one of these disciplined college teams that was doing it or something.
We
like
definitely saw that happen. No, it was at a tournament and somebody called a timeout and had their team run end lines. I can't remember, but that actually happened. And we were like, damn, they stole our idea.
Now you have to do it without calling the timeout. It just has to happen. And the ref doesn't know what to do. Do they give a yellow? Do they give a red? That would be an internet sensation, and Volley Chirps would get on it. Yes Guy Gaming, Passin Dimes, and it could be all George Brown alumni.
Yeah, I mean, that would be hilarious. I mean, you might take an 8-second violation, so you say, hey, you better finish this suicide in 8 seconds and serve it, or we're going to lose the point.
Yeah, you could do it at 24-22, and you guys create a lot.
Hey, this is how you work on clutchness. Every set point, we run suicides when it's our serve. And if we don't make it in time, we lose.
That's it. We're actually playing the 26, guys. We're playing the 26.
Josh, I'm curious, is there any shenanigans like that happening at the National Team Training Center? For those listeners who aren't aware, we're in Toronto here where Josh works coaching the beach volleyball national team for Canada. I mean, there's no other way to put it. He's a big fucking shooter. Are there any shenanigans going on there? Are you calling end lines? Are you disciplining guys? Or is it just free for all?
It's such a different environment where I think we go too far to the end of like what a professional is in that spectrum. But shout out to a new guy we have on the team, Alex Russell, who played pro indoor. He played at UBC. He brought it up pretty early in his career. He's like, is anybody going to get on each other? Is there going to be yelling? Like, why haven't I been yelled at? Like he was bringing this weird indoor mood that I think the beach guys are just because your teams within teams and you don't really talk to the other teams and you're just worried about your stuff. Where Russ brought like a team environment where I feel like we haven't got to that stage, but I think it would be welcomed when it did, just to bring some intensity or just a different mood to training sometimes.
Okay, well, I mean, here we are. We're getting coaching. We're getting growth right here in this episode, viewers. Thanks for joining us for this. This is what needs to happen. It's pretty clear. We need to get Oscar installed as head of discipline on the beach volleyball national team. I mean, that needs to happen. He has experience. I can vouch for him. I'll be a reference. 2, Dan, if you ever bounced on guys like that again, you got to yell at them. Absolutely. And then Josh, you follow up with, hey, run some end lines now. You just got bounced on by Dan.
That would be incredible.
I would love
to
go
see
back.
Oscar standing on the end line, like looking down, right? Josh is pointing over there, and I'm just yelling with my hands on my hips saying, you suck!
Yes. Like,
block the ball next time.
Yes. How are you going to let me bounce on you like that? I only touch 12 feet high.
That is embarrassing. Go do end lines or just grab your stuff and go into the snow.
Yeah.
Go into the snow. Don't come back in the sand.
That's an interesting one. Josh, have you ever pulled the get the fuck out of here? Just get your shit and get the fuck out of here.
No, that was the joke on the first day of the job. Everyone, like Schachter's encouraging me. He's like, you got to cut somebody on the first day. That's the only way to announce your presence with authority. Is just to cut somebody.
It's got to be Schachter.
Just right away, a sharp cut off the national team.
Sharp.
Yeah,
hey, did you just work in sharp cut into the show? Dan, guest for
Boys
life.
buzzing. Oh, yeah.
Subscribe. So, did you do it? No.
No, I couldn't go through with it. But
no, but the question is, though, did you think of who would be the one getting cut?
And if you had to name a name,
Can't confirm or deny who it would have been, but maybe we can have a poll and we can vote somebody off the island.
Oh, I'd love that. Give me a vote.
Yeah, that would be it. You'd go the Survivor route. You wouldn't go like you are the weakest link.
I think Survivor route just create clicks and some gamesmanship and really like let the ball roll on this one and see how escalated we can make it.
I think Oscar would be like, if you're the last one to touch the end line, you're gone.
I do like the poll idea. Like I can make 1,000 fake accounts online and just vote out whoever we want.
Yeah, Josh, just use the Volleyball Canada official account. Put out a poll. Who should we cut? Here's the 8 guys. Just vote. Who should we cut?
The country's spoken, guys. They can't argue with that.
Yeah, what are you going to do? Canada voted on this. Like,
yeah. Sharp cuts 99999 at hotmail.com.garrett.com. Spoken.
Yeah, legit, man. So, like, the vibe up there at the center, like, during the day, I guess is, like, pretty, like, is there any jokes? Are guys cracking jokes? Like, Dan, you've been training up there. I remember Oscar and I used to go up to the center and train with my dad, who was coaching an Olympic team at the time, Christine Navalius and Jamie Broder, and we would train against them. And it was hilarious in hindsight, eh, Oscar?
That was some really fun beach volleyball. One, because the net was lower, which was appropriate for me. And the 2 balls to you. Holy crap. That was an automatic.
Yeah, I still got it, maybe.
That was back when I was calling it I have it written down here. It's the Team Canada National Team Elite High Performance Olympic Training Center of Athletic Excellence. That's what we would all call it back then.
First member, Oscar.
No, I didn't. I was just a part timer.
It was intense, like because that's the thing. You walk in there and it's like routine, right? And then you come and you see something very different. Me and Oscar playing against an Olympic women's team and just yelling, like just full on intensity. Like that's got to spice things up. Is there anything like that going on these days, Josh and Dan?
Did Jamie or Christina ever snap back? Because that's a really competitive team. I can't see them just laughing at you guys. Like they would be gaming for sure, right?
It got intense and it was awkward.
It was like they were good games.
They were great. They were competitive because Oscar was. Well, why don't you comment on your skill level, Oscar?
No, I want to hear what you're going to say first.
Yeah,
bro.
Oscar was okay.
Give us a 1 to 10. 1 to 10 rep.
Well, who's 1 and who's 10? Who are we talking here? I'm 10.
Okay, fine.
And 1
Garrett was a 10, and 1 was. Ooh. Who
are you outing right here?
Yeah,
I'm gonna clip this and send it to them.
Here. Interesting.
Oh yeah, you're outing somebody, and I'm sending it to them. At mention.
I'm thinking about it.
Let's go.
Ooh, I'm gonna say the new assistant coach, Felipe. He's the one. I gotta talk some shit to the new coach. previous York University alumni teammate, just talking some smack. So let's go. Garrett made 10, Felipe 1. What is an Oscar?
Well, Felipe, as we all know, Felipe Umania Paredes, brother of Canadian Melissa Umania Paredes, world champion. So there's some genetics at play there. For him, if he's 1.
Oh, you know what? I meant Felipe being a defender. Yeah, that's right. Defending, he's a 1.
Yeah, okay. Then Oscar is a 2 on that scale. I mean, great pick, because now Oscar can tell Felipe Umania Paredes that he's probably better than him as a defender.
Sharp cut, said it first here.
Can Felipe say that he dug Olympians? Actually, he can. But, so, okay. Anyways.
Look, I'm not offended by anything, really. Like, if you're trying to get there at some point, Garrett, I'll disclose it now. I can't be offended by any review of my ability at beach volleyball.
All right.
But I will say, I wasn't. I was competitive with. I was competitive. I was competing to compete, or
training to compete,
playing to train to compete.
Learn to compete.
Or learning to compete.
Yeah, one of those. Yeah, one of those.
Training to train.
Training
Training to train
compete.
while thinking about competing. Never.
Okay. I would agree with that assessment, the whole thing. And you're right, they were intense, like, because you were good enough that it was close, it was even, and like my dad, as the coach of the practice, has to like he's trying to manage this. He's like trying to not throw me the free ball so that I'm getting up there because I was like, if Christina or Jamie ever cheered, I was like, I'm fucking pummeling the next one. There's no. I don't care. I'm hitting a roll shot. I'm going over top, and I'm hitting it as hard as I can. And I did once, and Jamie caught it, and it didn't happen that much after that. We'll just leave it at that.
Like caught it, like you packed her?
No, well, I mean in the breadbasket area, like the elbow, bicep, arm, gut area.
And that was only because of a really good set, probably.
Definitely.
Yeah, I mean, that was it too. Oscar was setting, and I will say, Oscar, after having quit volleyball, your setting improved immensely. It was unbelievable.
Well, you know what? I remember there was one time when we were training, and this is like I wasn't training. I was just going out and playing with you guys like once a week or so. Other than that, I wasn't like exercising or training in beach volleyball. Like, let's not like pretend otherwise. I get up there and I'm like, this is an early morning practice. I'm as hungover as I've ever been. Like I was really, really feeling it. Like when you start warming up, running around, like I couldn't do a full lap without feeling queasy.
Oh yeah.
And I thought, okay, John's gonna have a rough practice today too. Like it's gonna be running, free balls. Like I can't do that. So Garrett, you gotta like run around for me. I ended up playing some of the best volleyball I have played on that day. It was one of my best days, and I was like, I should like Legend of the Drunken Master here. Like you just feel like crap. And do you ever have any of those days where you're just feeling like crap, but you actually are playing well? Like maybe that's a thing. What's the science on that? Shout out to a sports science guy here.
That could be the new theory of moving forward. Just you're pre-planning, right? You pre-plan, you pre-drink, and you get out there and you go straight in and you're like, I'm doing this for tomorrow. I'm going to feel like shit and I'm going to play like it doesn't smell. And you just go out there.
So Dan, you'll have to like do some research and get back to us. So I expect in your next training session for the national team this week or next, you do a little experimentation. You do a little hungover practice. You do a little sober practice.
I was the master of that in my mid-20s. Like, come on. I would show up to a tournament, not even...
Hold on. Your mid-20s. Relax. You and I played together in your mid-20s. So what are you trying to say that, like, you're drowning your sorrows in the evening because you got to practice with me the next day? What the fuck?
I'll have like a shot glass and I'm like, this is for Garrett.
Wow. I mean, you're exposing the partnership big time. Ouch. Josh, save me from this embarrassment. I might edit myself out just so you don't just hold on. Yeah.
So you guys were pretty good. Like I don't know why you weren't going out with Dan here. Like what? Like
thanks for having my back.
You guys had it in the bag.
Yeah, it's true. Maybe I would have played a little bit better if I'd have been doing that same thing.
Gary, why don't you tell us a story about that one time at men's nationals, like you scraped in to qualify somehow or something like that. You and Dan had gotten together and you won. Didn't you win?
Oh yeah. So we were late registering to nationals. So we like the 1 year we played or whatever. And so I think who was it? Somebody made us play a qualifier or something to get into provincials. And I mean, it was like late at night. We were late. We'd get back on a flight and we ended up winning. Like, cause I mean, who was qualifying, like 32 teams or whatever, like we, and we ended up qualifying and won. Low seed. Do you remember that, Dan?
I remember that. It was very fun. I think we had the largest hug count that we've ever had.
Yeah, and I mean, the guys in BC, man, those guys out west, if you're listening, subscribe. Thanks for joining us. That hug count on the cardboard, like that was a thing. Eh? We go out there and guys started ticking off the amount of hugs. But then we just started hugging literally twice a point, 3 times a point to hold it long. And it's like, hey, you're going to need more cardboard, guys.
Just like fake the wipe the glasses and kind of just go in for the hug. And then like, yeah, okay. Oh, yeah.
I don't know why more guys don't hug. Like, you see hockey players, like, they're hugging, bumping all the time. I mean, the basketball players, they don't do it much, eh? Like, they don't really hug it out.
No.
They're pretty cool.
Yeah, that's true.
They're probably too cool. That's what separates them from you guys who really leaned into the uncool part of it. I mean, maybe it's a culture thing with the sport. Ask the national team coach here. But I don't know. Is that still the culture? Hug, or is it just high five?
I'm trying to think of any of our teams that do hug, but I do want to circle back to your Vancouver comment there, Garrett. I'm curious with you guys playing Van Open, and Dan, you've played it a couple times. Do you guys embrace the crowd participation? Do you converse with the guys chirping? Like, do you try to ignore it? Because that's a pretty interactive audience, and I'm curious as a player, what do you do when you're being targeted with this hilarity sometimes?
I mean, I've made this point before in other ways, but I think it's what our sport is missing is more of that, like more engagement, more energy, more excitement around that. And as a player, I was pretty laser beam focused, so I would never engage, never. But if I were to go back now, that would be all I do, because really at the end of the day, nobody remembers who won the tournament or not. They remember, or did you medal? Did you like? Who cares? People remember the times and the personalities and the things like that. And so I didn't take advantage of that. I'm trying to now, I guess, with this show. Thanks for joining us. But didn't do that as a player and kind of ignored it completely. But Dan, I know you engaged a little bit, more than I did.
Yeah, I was laser focused when we were like, battling the great teams. Like sets were close, scores were close. Like, I was just like, I'm either calling, like, we're calling the play and hugging, and that's it. Like, that was it. Plays and hugs. But besides that, it was like, if we're up by a lot, of course I'm throwing the sky ball up there, right? I love those guys that are announcing it. You got to go for the sky ball, get the crowd involved. But even when you're down by 12 points, you got to throw up the sky ball anyways.
Yeah, like, who gives a shit, really? Like, be entertaining. I mean, like, I mean, we need that. We need some personality, hence us bringing you two guys on the show. And I don't know, Josh, what do you think? How have they done so far if we were judging the level of personality and excitement of our two first guests?
I think this is outstanding. And if we ever get a pro tour, a league going, I mean, to have Garrett and Oscar on the mic or playing, either way, and have Dan playing, that's entertainment right there. I know we can convince Jake McNeil to do some wrestling-style promos to hype up the event. Like, I think we can really push this Canadian volleyball scene just by encouraging people to have more fun with it, because you, Garrett, being a retired athlete, maybe you're coming back, maybe you're not, maybe I'm spread rumors on the show, but for you to say you were too focused and took it too serious, I think that's a good message for the young players that you can laugh a little bit, you can be entertaining, you can, play with some joy and really still excel at our sport.
Yeah, like as a coach, I'm telling kids, you cannot do that. Like, you will lose focus and you will lose. That is terrible advice. Like, you're gonna
end line.
Like, it doesn't work. Hit the end line, kid. Quit. But now it's like, yeah, who cares? Like, so Josh, you're saying me and Oscar playing like a game?
He said on the mic, didn't he?
Well, I said both. Like, Oscar, your choice if you want to register or be on the mic. There's a job for you either way. Or what's really cool about the Vancouver guys is Seymour will play in the event, and when he gets eliminated, he'll go up and be the announcer. So he's got that dual role thing going. I think Sandy does the same thing, right? So why not copy that? Because they've got a good thing going.
Yeah, I mean, the hope would be that I would never actually have to go to the announcing thing. But, I mean, yeah, I get it. It's funny you mentioned the retired thing, because I think, Dan, like, you're maybe feeling the same thing. Like, hey, I don't know, I'm young. Like, I can still mix it up, right? Like, I'm not over the hill. But when we kind of stopped playing, there was like a rumor among the national team that was like, "Oh, is Garrett retiring?" And I loved that, because I was like, I don't know, I'm gonna milk this for years. Now we should start the rumor, oh, am I coming back? And just see how long we can get that hanging on for.
I'm willing to bet you wouldn't be much worse.
Maybe Dan and I show up and like just play in a tournament, but we lose in an OVA, like just the shittiest tournament ever. We lose on purpose or something, just to like plant the seed in there.
Oh, May Deering registered. Oh my gosh, they're in our pool.
And we're terrible.
Yeah.
We lose 21-5, but 5 massive bounces from Dan.
Yeah, that's true. We could even like get people to register and just put our names down anyways, and they show up and they're just like, like little 17-year-old boys. Right? Like,
we're so desperate to return.
Garrett's coming, and then these guys that just registered under the wrong name just scared everybody.
Well, I will share a little something, because when my dad hosted the F5EB beach volleyball event in Edmonton, and we went with Rich Van Heusen and Casey McTavish, who are just fantastic. Both of them really entertaining people. Love to have them on the show too, but they're super busy. Casey's a firefighter and Rich is a teacher. But we were the announcers of the event, and it was amazing. Like, we were having a blast, mixing it up. But there were some kids there from the Canada National Team Challenge Cup who were there in Edmonton at the same time, who came to watch. And a bunch of them recognized me and came on, oh, Garrett, what's up? And then they kept saying, Joe Fa. And I was like, what? Wait, you're not because I'm a sick player, like not because I like former world champion, like national team member, like, oh, because of Yes Guy Gaming. I don't know whether to be like super excited or like really pissed off, but either way, I mean,
which side of the ego are you gonna allow to?
Yeah, I was like,
to embrace it here.
But yes, Josh, if you have any sway at all, get Oscar and I a gig doing commentary, announcing, whatever. We will kill it.
I was curious to know if you've been away long enough that people don't associate you as like the world champion guy. Like when Oris Stanko started coaching club again, it was hilarious that here's one of the all-time winningest OUA coaches, and he's at like a 16U boys tournament, and the ref, who's some teenager's like big time, and I'm thinking he's some crazy old man. Meanwhile, it's like that's one of the best coaches we have in our province, just because they couldn't associate the two together. So you're now the Yes Guy Gaming guy. You're not a world champion.
I'm happy to take that. Subscribe, by the way. Happy to take on that moniker, and I mean, I like that though. Like, if you're a crotchety old dude and you're headed back to coach or like do whatever, like, you got to earn it back, buddy. And I'm fully expecting if that ever happens to me, you got to earn that. You got to earn the rep back again.
I guess nobody agrees.
Yeah, is that an unpopular opinion, or
Yeah, maybe.
is this thing on?
Yeah, I think the mic cut out for sure.
Oh, you guys are so good.
Oh, I love that looking around. That was rehearsed.
Well, I mean, there's not much to look at, actually. I just
Speaking of segues, I do have one more, since we have two internet sensations on the show, and I'm curious because Oscar, like we didn't enter this in your bio, but you being a crush guy, you're a provincial champion, you won some national championships. Dan, you're part of Pac-Man, and I think you guys had the YouTube video for a long time there. I think, was it 20 big hits or 20 big bounces, whatever it was. But I'm curious, with you guys both being big time in the pre-Instagram era, what was it like? Because going to provincials and seeing like the following you guys had at Rim Park, and there were people who knew who you were, but you didn't have Instagram to kind of cash in and actually like quantify how many fans you had. I'm just curious what it was like being on like the team in your era, even though you didn't have the social media to support it.
Dan?
That's a great question. I think it didn't really matter then, right? It's like, now that we're so aware of social media and followers and videos and likes and posts and views, I think then like kids would be surprised that you just show up and you're not on your phone. Like, it's just people have to watch you to actually see you perform. So I think it created more of a beautiful atmosphere for, teams when they're not playing or when they're off, to come watch what you had to see, because no one was really filming it anymore. So it created a pretty cool atmosphere, feeling like you were a bit of a volleyball celebrity, because you saw all these younger boys and younger teams that would come and watch. and then they would leave after the hitting warm up because they just wanted to see that. It would inspire them, but then they could then share it with everybody else, saying, "Oh, I just saw the Pac-Man warm up," and like, "Oh, really cool," and then no one else could see it. So it's like they kind of saw a live event. And nowadays everything's kind of filmed and broadcasted, so I think it definitely has a different perspective to it. So it created a better atmosphere. And now you can catch everything online. So
yeah, it's a good point. Like I think I didn't even start texting until I was in maybe halfway through grade 9. So that was probably like mid 15U season. So I had about a year and a half of playing, like no phone, and then even the video stuff wasn't coming out much there. You're just like, that was early YouTube too, like that big 20 hits or whatever video. I remember that video, and that gave you guys some notoriety. But as someone who was on a really successful team, Crush, if I was given the chance to see the court maybe once or twice a year, the coach, by the way, full disclosure, Garrett's dad, John, we still have to clear up some of that confusion. I think he always was putting the wrong number on the starting lineup. But I didn't have the nads to say much, so I got the benefits of watching the game like the fans, and also being on it. So it was a bit of an in between. If hindsight's 2020, I might have played it a bit differently. As anyone might when looking back at their sort of high school years. But I think it was still a really fun time.
Yeah, and well, it's funny you bring that up because full disclosure. If we're going full disclosure, Josh and I attempted to record an episode of this show, the Ghost first episode of Passin Dimes Sharp Cuts, and it failed for various reasons, and we don't need to go into who's responsible for it because it's really not that important, but someone is, and they took steps. But we had my dad, John, former coach of you, former coach of me, former coach of Olympians, on. And I'm seeing a build-up to a bit of a clash here on the show with you and my dad to really clear the air about what the heck was going on there.
Keep Dan here, too. I need to feel safe.
Well, I'm worried, though, you might not get a word in edgewise because when he gets the mic, it's like, good luck trying to wrest it back. I might have to, mute him, although I don't know if I can do that. It's interesting.
Well, and his head will take up the camera. You might not even be able to see what he's saying.
Yeah, see, it seems like there's some unresolved issues there that we really need to work through. Not only are we trying to make an entertaining show, we're trying to help people, right?
Yeah, that's what it's all about. It's for the children.
Oh, man. Well, yeah, back on topic. What were we even talking about? Being on the team?
The team in a pre-social media era, because I remember it was a rush to watch the Pac-Man warm-up and to watch you guys, because there would be 4 or 5 people deep around the court at Rim Park just watching you guys bounce these overpasses from your coaches.
Right.
And then they would scatter.
And I'll say, though, before YouTube, nobody who hadn't seen that gave a shit, right? So what's kind of interesting is I wonder, because Dan, the team you were on and the guy you are and some of the personalities you had was admittedly a lot more entertaining than our squad. We were pretty boring, but you guys were pretty exciting visually, personality-wise. If there was Instagram and YouTube fully prevalent and everything was taped back then, I'm thinking, man, you guys would have been a hot commodity. People would have been all over that.
Yeah, I think it would have definitely created more waves even in this era now. I think that video would go viral and it would be quite well. It would be good for the sport, good for Canada, right? And then it would be pretty cool. Even if it did come back, we could even probably get some of those guys on this show and bring back as a little reunion and get Well,
I'll just say relax there with trying to book members for a show that's not yours. Just take it a step back there, okay? Easy there. No, I mean, I get it. It's a great show. I mean, hey, subscribe. But no, I'm just kidding.
That's a
That would
John
be
May move.
fantastic.
He was finishing stories and be like, actually, I'll tell that next time I'm on the show. And he was leaving good, like just teasers that he was going to be returning in like a multi-guest. So
Yeah, I was like, it's a bit assumptive, isn't it? Like, we'll have to check the ratings after the episode comes out. Did the fans like it? I mean, I don't know.
You got to go real sharp and hope it goes in.
Hey, I will say, in the Ghost episode, there was a really great reference to Passin Dimes. We were talking about passing or something, and Passin Dimes was thrown in there. What do you think was better, that reference, Josh, or Dan's Sharp Cuts reference, which he's made 2 of them?
both have been really like organic and just genuine, but I feel like the Ghost episode, that one, it worked in so well that even they had to pause to make sure that we got it. It was that smooth.
See, I really like how you're kind of building the mysteriousness around the show. We already have a Ghost episode that is unseen with some great moments that will never see the light of day. You guys feeling like jealous at all that you weren't part of that, or because that's kind of the goal as well?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Oscar and I are definitely gonna connect after this podcast, and we're gonna
Here we
share a few
go.
words with each other.
Here comes another show with you 2 guys.
Yeah, we're launching a competitor actually.
Oscar.
Shit. What have we done? We're bringing together entertaining people who are going to go off and do their own thing and shit
Yeah,
on us, Josh.
Yeah, I believe in volley chirps. That's
I'm not even mad if they bring volley chirps back. That would be amazing.
We got to stop this, Josh. We got to keep this on a tighter leash. Otherwise, people are going to be getting great ideas. They're going to be putting us out of business. Not that we're in business, but we're going to be out before we even started.
Now there's going to be a waiver to be on the show, and they got to sign all over like intellectual property to us, and just
yeah, we got to
things are
sign
escalating.
NDAs, like full on stuff to host this show. Like, whatever. This is too much, you guys. Stop being so creative. Well, I mean, or don't. I mean, hopefully it's made for a great show.
We'll see. I guess we'll see in the numbers.
Yeah, I think we're gonna call it Deep Lines for sure. Yeah, I think that's gonna be our segue into our
Yeah, you got
show.
Sharp Cuts and their competitor Deep Lines.
That's brilliant.
Yeah,
I
wow.
thought so.
Okay. Well, I mean, how do we end the show, Josh? Like, do we even end the show, or do we just go until these guys just get so sick of us that we hang up?
I mean, if people out there are still listening, it shows that they are like fans and friends of the show. But I think we should really let them off the hook here and just call it here. Like, I think we've gotten all we can really get out of this squad here.
Well, I mean, those extra watch seconds are huge for the algorithm, though, you know. So maybe we extend this another 10 minutes, have some blank airtime, just in case somebody left it going, you know, really push the algorithm.
Push the algorithm.
People are out before they even get here anyway. Unless I start clipping these endings and make a compilation of our best moments. Here I am getting ahead of myself. Deep Lines is going to kill us anyways.
I'm actually a spy. Like, I was brought on here, but I'm not doing it for you. I'm doing it for the believed deep lines team.
Well, shit. We better end it there then, Josh, because otherwise we're going to keep giving these guys even better ideas, and they're just going to steal everything from us.
Yeah. When in doubt, bad set, good set. You hear cross, you hear cut, you got to go deep line.
Yeah, I know. I know all too well, buddy. And
Deep
maybe
six.
if we had a few less deep lines, we might have done a little bit better. Just saying. No. Just kidding. The sharp cuts got blocked too, so whatever.
Oh, I love it. I love it.
Well, it was good talking to you guys. And Dan, good to see you. Haven't
Good to
seen
see
in a
you too,
while.
Oscar.
And Josh.
And, thank you, Garrett, and thank you, Josh, for having me on this #1 episode. And I hope it doesn't get better after this, but at the same time, I do hope that it gets better after this.
Well, I mean, we'll have to have you guys on again to really challenge some of our other guests because we've set the bar high. So you guys got to come and really push them and let us know, like, hey, Oscar, head of discipline. I mean, there's an opening at Passin Dimes Sharp Cuts for a head of discipline. So if we're having guests on who are shit, we need you on here to just like hang up on them, cut them off, make them do end lines on the show. I mean, I think that could really help elevate things.
I think so. Every like 10, whatever you guys can create, every 10 episodes or something, you know. And Oscar, if you do shave, you have to put the fake mustache on. That has to be a trend. Right? I'm going to always be eating the first 10 minutes of every episode, sharing, sharing that stuff. And, maybe I'll keep talking some smack about Mike Platinga the entire time. Who knows?
Yeah, Mike, I hope you're not feeling too bad. Please subscribe. That would be great. We'd appreciate it. But yeah, I think we're going to end the show because, frankly, I think we've taken enough abuse. So, Josh, do you have any final words? I mean, you're the podcast expert. I'm just some guy trying to do stuff.
Well, I do want to thank Dan and Oscar for coming on the show. This is going to be tough to top. I'm worried we may have peaked too early here, but we won't know until next time. But thanks to the guys for coming on. It was definitely good catching up and seeing you guys and hearing what you had to add. I laughed a lot. Hopefully our listener or listeners definitely had a good laugh about this. And hit that subscribe button, 5-star review on Apple Podcasts, and follow Yes Guy Gaming on YouTube.
All right, Garrett, let's go. Bring it in one last time.
Yep. Hug.
Yeah.
Hug. Okay, we're gonna hug it. Oh, okay.